If you have a question, welcome everybody. It's 11 o'clock on a Friday, and we're back in session. Today we are doing an iconic song called How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees, and it was written and recorded in 1977. It was used in the soundtrack to the film Saturday Night Fever. I think I saw that movie like 3 times in a row. 77 was the year I graduated high school, so that was we were all going to the clubs and wearing our disco duds. This song topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 17 weeks. 17 weeks. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing the Bee Gees doing something. So this is a fabulous song. If you have the signature background, then you already have the perfect intro. But you can use a lot of different rhythms on this, and I'm going to go through them all for you today. I'm not going to play it 100 times. I'm just going to play it once. Song setup on the Liberty and on the Imperial and several other instruments comes up to Love Ballad at 102 beats per minute, 102, 103, anywhere near there's pretty good. And remember, it's 1977, so we are using synthesizer sounds. Synthesizer sounds. If you have category modern, you can go to that more category, modern, and I believe
Excuse me, Don. Excuse me, Don.
number,
You're
yeah,
actually when you're talking, you're getting scratchy.
I'm scratch. You know what that is?
A
It's
little
this
bit.
little wire right here.
Okay, just so you know. Okay.
Yep, this little
Okay.
wire. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah. Okay, hopefully I just popped it and it's a little better now. Little bit better? Can you hear
Yes, it
me?
is. Yes, I could. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's this little, I know, I've got a bad wire. It's this little wire right here. So, yeah, just keep reminding me and I'll have to keep fiddling with it until it gets really good. If you go to your category more modern, you're going to get all kinds of fabulous sounds. That's a good sound. Your number 1 is good. Number 3 is good. Number 5. No, but the one that I think everybody's going to like to use is number 6 in your modern, which is your mellow bell and a synthesizer on the bottom. Okay, now I also, guys, need you to tell me if my sound on my instrument is okay, because Billy was in here and he gave me more oomph to my instrument, and I was messing with my mixer, and I may have it too high, too low, so you have to tell me that as well. So I'm going to play it on Love Songs. Why is it on 50s Love Songs? Love Ballad. There we go. Love Ballad. And it's going to be with that mellow bell and a synthesizer on the bottom, which you can get in the modern, or you can get it with your song setup. Whoop, Connie coming back in. Okay. And we're just going to use the intro that it gives us. And you just fade it out. Okay. Sound is okay? Sound on the instruments okay?
Yep.
Okay, good, good, very good, because I was messing again with settings, so, well, that's never perfect, but that's all right. Beautiful song. This was one of those songs that if you were in the club and some guy was not asking you to dance, you were a loser. No, this was the one we all wanted to dance to because this was the slow dance, and what a beautiful song it is. And it's in a book, of course, called Beautiful Ballads. If you noticed, I was playing more chords than are actually here. So I am going to give you more chords. Remember, anything I give you today is optional. You do not need any of the extras, but I think it will help it to sound better. All right. Cute Freddie, I just read your chat. The first thing we need to do is do the road map. And the road map is just follow the verses. And because we have such a long first ending, it's going to be a little bit hairy-scary, but we'll get it. So we're going to play all of the first page, and I actually taped that odd page so I didn't have to keep turning my pages back and forth. Page 72, the second page, top line, then you have the first ending. That first ending is actually 3 lines long. At the end of the page, at the end of your first ending, you have 2 dots, a thin line and a thick line. That takes you right back to the dots at the beginning of the song. So and it goes quickly, so there's not a lot of time to be turning pages. So if you love the song, do make a copy of that first page and tape it so you've got all 3 of your pages in a row. Now we're going to do the second verse, all of the first page, the first line of page 72, and then you're going to put a colorful 2 right at the end of that line, and right across the way is the second ending. So you're just going right across the page. You just have to know, second time, go straight across. Then you're going to finish the rest of that page, and then when you get to the bottom, guess what? You're not done. It's the end of a section. 2 thin lines is always the end of a section, and then it gives you some instructions as to where it's going. DS and fade. Go back to the silly sign. Where's the silly sign? Top of page 2. Top of the second page. Okay? Now, it's kind of vague as to, do I continue with the first ending or do I continue with the second ending? Guess what? It doesn't matter because you're fading out. And basically that first ending and the second ending are pretty much the same. And because you are fading out, it doesn't matter which way you go. Questions about that? Because that's a little bit vague. It does not tell you which way to go, first ending or second ending. Doesn't matter, you're fading out.
Dawn, what's the
Dawn?
name of the song?
We're doing How Deep Is Your Love on page 71.
Thank you.
And I just played it, and we are going over the road map.
Dawn,
Yes,
what book are you in?
we are in book 336, Beautiful Ballads.
Dawn,
Yes.
if you go to that first ending and fade out there, I mean, that doesn't seem like it would be a good place to stop.
Well, you don't want to stop, you just want to fade out.
Oh,
It's the same, if you take a look at the first 2 lines of the first ending, actually the first 3 lines of the first ending are exactly the same as the first 3 lines of the second ending. Exactly the same. Note for
Oh.
note, chord for chord.
oh, okay.
So it doesn't really matter which one you go to because you're going to play a couple of lines and you're going to hit your fade out button and you're just going to, the song just
I'll
goes
fit into
away.
that.
Okay,
So that's why it doesn't really matter.
okay.
So you just pick one and go. All right. Now, what other rhythms can you use? We'll talk about that first, And then we'll get into some extra chords because I can. All right. I also did this. Now that was Love Ballad. I also did this on Pop Ballad using the same modern number 6 with your mellow bell and your synth. And your background is going to change from this, to this. It just gives it a little more pizzazz, but it's still absolutely fine. You can also go to soft rock, I think it's number 5. It's your 70s piano. It's either 5 or 6. And take your Orchestra Plus off. And that gives you, or if you want, you can actually go back to your category more and go to that same synthesized sound. But you don't have to play that. 70s piano sounds just as good. That gives it a different flavor. So soft rock. I also did sweet rhythm under rhythm and blues. And I believe this is number 5 because it's called 2 Bells. It's your rhythm preset or vintage number 5. Okay, what about folk style or basic folk if you're on the bigger organs? It's contempo folk style. And just use rhythm preset 0. And that sounds really pretty as well. But put on your alter style. Not my favorite, but it does work. And then, for those of you who never find a use for the one meditation, if you turn on meditation and put the alter style on, you have a preset called Synth Bell. I can't remember what number it is. But the background gives you all those synthesizer sounds. Again, not my favorite, but it does work. What if you're in a smaller instrument? All of your easy instruments, easy 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, rock full band at 103. Go to your more section over here and pull up the extra, that's with an X, not an EX, extra solo saw. That is your synthesized sound that's going to give you that 70s disco feel. If you are in a Freedom 3, there are several of them that you can use. Rock 8-beat, and again, you're going to go into that more, and you're going to pick up synth saw, which is that 70s sound. Or you can do your mellow, smooth 16 beat, and that's going to give you a little bit like the pop ballad that we did. It's going to give it a little more of a modern touch to it. And again, use that more synth saw. So it does not matter which size instrument you have. You can make this song sound beautiful. And I'm sure if you keep experimenting, you can find the rhythms that you like. And don't forget, start with a rhythm first. And then go into the sounds. Always work left to right. And that way you'll find some pretty nice things. Questions on the roadmap? Use disco? No, I wouldn't use disco. Now, rock or disco, it says rock or disco. This is a love song. This is a ballad. And it says disco because it's from the soundtrack Saturday Night Fever, and every song on there was a disco song. But this was the slow dance ballad. So the disco, and I'm just going to leave it on 102. Let's go to disco and see. I think it's going to be a little bit too aggressive, but let's try it. Just a little bit too. It's not a love song. A little too heavy. It doesn't have that light ballad feeling. So even though it says disco up here, I pretty much recommend stay away. Tempo 103, 102, 103. So in this case, I would stay away from disco and go to your love songs. If you've got the bigger instruments, don't forget song setup is going to give you something really nice. Okay, let's go back.
Dawn, what was the tempo on Love Ballad?
Love Ballad was 102.
Oh, okay, thank you.
102, yeah.
I had the wrong thing.
Yeah, this is your slow dance song. In the middle of all the disco numbers, this is your slow dance. Rock 8-beat is very good.
Dawn,
Yes. Hi,
Susie. Hi. Now for the Grand Marquis, I put in signature
Yes.
song, but
Yes.
are we going to start with the zero or El Piano or sax?
I would start with well, again, if you go to song setup, remember what happens when you go to song setup. The rhythm presets, your vintage and your style setups go out. Your song setups come up with two sounds specific to that song. You do not have on vintage or style setup. Either one of those is on.
Oh, so don't put on vintage. I'm
No.
on vintage.
Not until you try the
No,
two sounds that
go
are
ahead.
there.
Oh,
So
okay.
don't-
I was trying to reach. Oh, I dialed the wrong number. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
So
Thank
you're
you.
so you're saying just go to song setup. I know
Just
that
go to
about-
song setup and use the top keyword and the
Ooh.
bottom keyword. And I was using the top for the verses and the bottom for the chorus, but that's totally up to you.
23.
You can
It was
mix
in
and match, go back and forth as
January
often
10th.
as you want, or just stay on one keyboard.
23.
If you don't like those sounds, because you have that signature background on your instrument, then you can go
Maybe
to
on your
either
phone like
vintage
that.
or
Doesn't
style
I have
setup
my
and
phone.
go down the line. I'm going to hit mute all again because we got too many things going on at once. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question. But that's what you do is start with the two sounds that song setup gives you. And then you can go to your rhythm preset or your vintage or your style setup and try 1 through 10 to get your other sounds.
Okay, so the song setup is the same as the signature sound too.
It probably is the same as vintage 0. It probably or style setup 0. It's one of the two.
But
Yeah.
the definition of that of the signature is song setup actually.
If you
a
go to song
instrument that-
setup, it's not
Okay.
going to turn on either of your rhythm presets. It's only going to have on two
Yes.
sounds. Try
Okay.
those first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, and then start going to your then go to a vintage or a style setup and then push the 1 through 10.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yep.
Dawn,
yeah.
one other question.
Yeah.
When we're playing with a song setup and I was playing this one song with the setup and I had the vintage chord on, it wouldn't play with it. Should I have pushed normal or what? Do you understand? I wanted to play the chords you had given us.
Has
as
nothing
well.
to do with chords. All the vintage or style setup does is change the sound.
Okay.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the chords I give you. Just to
all right.
review, when you go to a song setup, it will turn off your vintage and style setup and normal. It's only
Right.
going to give you two sounds, one on top,
Right.
one on bottom.
Mhm.
Then if you want to try other sounds, then you touch vintage or normal or
Okay.
And that's going to open up these 10 to fabulous sounds for that rhythm, not necessarily for that song. Song setup comes up with 2 for the song. Okay?
It was only with that one song, and I thought.
Yeah, but for it has nothing to do with the chords. The chords are going to be
Okay.
what your left hand is doing.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Good
I don't know.
questions. Very good questions. All right, now I did add extra chords. Why? Because in the 70s, that's when synthesizers really first started coming out, and even guitar players were composing on keyboards, on the synthesizers. And so they were making up lots of chords and using a lot of major 7s and a lot of chords that they probably didn't even know what they were doing. They're just putting their fingers on and going, ooh, that sounds really good. Let's use it. I know I was married to one of those for a while. So I'm going to give you some extra chords. They are optional. But I think if you try some of them, and if you only want to try one, that's fine. If you want to try one, see what it sounds like, see what it does for you. Some of you are more advanced and you're going to want to put them all in, and that's good too. So don't worry about it. This is here just to push you just a little bit. All right, here we go with chords. The F chord is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the G for the word morning. Put in an A minor, alligator minor, or an A minor 7, which is C, G, and A. C, G, and A. Next measure, beat 1 over the F for the word sun. Put in a G minor or G minor 7, gorilla minor. With the 7, it's F, G, B flat. F, G, B flat. And then the D chord is perfect right where it is. The G minor, you may put a 7 on it, F, G, B flat. That's good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the A for pouring. Put an A or an A7, G and A. The C in the next measure can be a C7, or for some of you who are a little more adventuresome, try a C11. Okay, I'm going to tell you the notes, and it's going to sound really cool. You're going to say, yeah, I like the sound. You don't have to play the chord, but if you want to try it, a C11, here's a C, here's a C7, here's a C11. Oh, it's just got a real pretty sound to it. Here's your notes. C, chicken. D, dinosaur. F, fish. And B flat, flat butterflies. It's a really nice chord. If you don't feel like playing it, don't worry about it. That's good for the whole measure. The F chord is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the C for wander. Put in an A minor or an A minor 7, C, G, A. The next line, you may put 7s on all 3 of those chords. D minor 7, G minor 7, C 7. Now, that C at the end, if you want to make that a C11, go for it, because it will tell you in the window, I'm playing a C11. So if you wrote the notes down up here, you can copy them down in the 3rd line as well. 4th line, the first B flat, make it a B flat major 7, A and B flat. Remember the rules for major 7s. It's the letter minus 1. The letter minus 1. So A and B flat. Major 7s are so
Can you
common.
repeat
Yeah,
that? Where are you?
I am on the first
Last
page,
line? Yeah.
line 4,
Right.
first chord.
Okay. B flat.
Make it a major 7.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. The A minor, you may put a 7 on that. And then the G minor, you may put a 7 on that. Let's go to the top of the 2nd page. You have an optional chord right off the bat. It says E flat 7. Put it in a box. I want you to play it. E flat 7 is D flat and E flat. D flat and E flat. And for those of you who are a little more adventuresome, you can make it an E flat 9, which is a 4-fingered chord. It's D flat, E flat, F, G. And here's your E flat. Here's your E flat 7. Here's your E flat 9. Pretty. Cross out the F in the second measure and replace it with A minor or A minor 7. C, G, A. Your next C, it can be a 7 or it can be an 11, one of those C11 chords. So again, you just write in your notes, C, D, F, B flat. The F chord is good in the last measure. Let's go to the first ending. First measure, first beat over the word deep. Put in an F major 7, E and F. So you're just adding an E to the chord that was in the top line. E and F, F major 7. The B flat, make it a B flat major 7, A and B flat. Then in the last measure, you see a B flat minor, okay? Put a box around it, you want to play it. D flat, B flat. Third line, the F chord is good for one measure. Then you see a C minor chord, put a box around it. You want to play that one too, C and E flat. D7 is good, last line, no changes, G minor and B flat minor, D flat, B flat. Let's go to the top of the third page. Second measure, or second ending. First measure, first beat. Over the C for deep, put an F major 7, E and F. It's going to be the same as it was over here. You can just copy them over. The B flat is going to be a B flat major 7, A and B flat. The B flat minor, put a box around it. You want to play it. D flat, B flat. The F chord is good for one measure. Then you see a C minor. Put a box around it, play it. C and E flat. The D7 is good. The G minor in line 3, put a 7 on it. The B flat minor, D flat, B flat. Last line, no changes, F and G minor.
Yeah.
And that's it. So yeah, the C11 is a optional chord. If you are truly level 3, don't worry about it. But I know some of you on here can and will play that chord. It's a beautiful sound. If you're just adventuring into extra chords, the ones I would suggest are the major 7s because they're so easy and they sound so good, especially in your 70s love songs where you have the letter -1. The letter -1 for your major 7s. So if those are the only chords you learn on this, yeah, you're good. You're good. Okay, I do have fingering for you as well. Let's see, what else did I have this on? I'm going to play it one more time. This time I'm going to play it on the pop ballad. I want you to follow through so you can get the road map. And then we'll go through with the fingering. Next.
Dawn,
Yeah.
did you on the set or page 72, did you go on the lower keyboard on the second line?
I did. I actually started where the silly sign is
Okay.
because
Oh,
that's the chorus. Now, you don't have to. If you have a sound up here that you love, you can play the whole song on that sound. It's okay.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, the next one is I Will Always Love You. Ooh, okay. Dolly Parton's version.
Mhm.
I can add some stuff to make it more Whitney Houston-ish.
He does a beautiful job on that.
Yep. All right, here we go with How Deep Is Your Love. Oh, I'm going to put it on pop ballad. And this is with no orchestra plus. I did turn that off. Okay. Did you have any
Dawn,
problems
I have-
following the roadmap?
Dawn, I have one question.
Mhm,
At the end, when you're going back to the silly sign on the top of page 72,
mhm.
how do you play that? That's going from where?
The silly sign is coming from, it's coming from the bottom of page 73. You can see
Yeah.
the pickup note, how deep, okay? How deep is your love? And then you can either follow the second ending or the first ending. They're both
Okay.
the same. It doesn't matter which one you follow. I think I just went across the page because it was easier. Just go across the page. It doesn't matter. If you play here, it doesn't matter. You're fading out. And if you
Okay.
notice, the first ending, first 3 lines are exactly the same as the second ending, the first 3 lines. So it doesn't matter which one you follow. You're just going to fade out. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
little vague, I know.
Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome. Very welcome. Pretty song. This gives you a chance to explore some of your synthesized sounds. And if you go to some of your, you don't just have to go to your categories. Category Modern gives you quite a few. But a lot of your rhythms will give you some of them in your rhythms. So, for example, you might go to a disco rhythm, not to find a rhythm, but maybe you like the sounds in that, in your 1 through 10. If you find a sound that you love, for example, let's go to meditation. Where did I do meditation? Meditation. I didn't care for the background, although it does work. But meditation gives you some beautiful sounds that are synthesized sounds. That's a good sound, even if you don't like the background. That's a good sound. Don't like that one. But you go through and you find them. That's the same as modern number 6. Your atmosphere is pretty. So you might find something I'm in meditation and I don't really want to use that background. I want to use like my love songs background. But if you like one of those sounds, how do you transport that to a new rhythm? How do you do that? You have to save it, but you only want to save the sound, not with the style. So let's say I wanted to save that first one, synth bell, and I wanted to save that. I'm going to go memorize, and then pick a letter, pick a number, but with style, no. With transpose, no, because I just want to save the sound. I'm going to borrow it for a different rhythm. So then I'm going to turn my memorize button off, and now I know E10 has that meditation 0 sound. So now I can use that with my love ballad. I can just go to E10, and it should give me, yes, I don't need the intro, thank you. So I'm using that meditation sound with a different rhythm. So you can mix and match all this kind of stuff. And if you're not sure how to do that, go to your closest store, your PA, and ask them, and they'll walk you through it because it's not hard. It just opens up your whole organ to give you all kinds of different sounds. Smaller instruments, you do have some of those. You might want to try putting some vocals with your synthesized sounds. You know, try layering a few things and making up your own sounds, because that's kind of fun to do too. Or using a horn with your synthesized sounds and seeing what kind of new things. Or a bell. Get a crystal bell to go along with something else and see if you can put something together and layer and design your own sounds. So just fun stuff. Or not, just push a button and play. All right, next week we will do I Will Always Love You. I do have fingering for you. Those of you who don't need fingering, thank you so much for coming. It's a joy to teach this class. I truly love this class. You guys are awesome. And here we go. Get your pencils out. C1, F2, G3, A4, A4, F2, G3, A4, F2, F sharp 3, G1, circle it, that's a thumb tuck. A2, B flat 3, B flat 3, B flat 3, G1, A2, B flat 3, G1, A2, B flat 3, C4, 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 A2, C4, D5. Let's go to the next line. C4, A2, F1, F1, G2, A3, B flat 4, B flat 4, B flat 4, and B flat 4. C5, A3, G2, F1, F1, high D3, 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 F5, D3, high G5, E3, C2, C2, D3, F5, D3, C2. You might want to put a little arrow on this next one, make the D a 4. So you're going to be squinching up your fingers kind of together. D4, C3, A2, C4 at the top of the next page, A3, G2, F1, G2, A1 with a circle, that's your thumb tuck, C2, D3, F4, A5, straight up the line. Then you dip down to that low C with the 1, or you go to your lower keyboard, but it is a C1, D2, C1, F4, E3, D2, first ending C1, F4, E3, D2, C1, D2, F1 with a circle. Now there's another way you could have done that. You'd have to tuck sooner, but this worked. A3, B flat 4, A3, G2, A1, circle it, another thumb tuck, B flat 2, C3, 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 all the way across, D4, C3, C3, D4, E flat 5, C3, C3, D4, E flat 5, E flat 5, D4, C3, B flat 2, check mark, B flat 3, C4, D flat 5, D flat 5, C4, B flat 3. All right, let's go to the second ending. Next page, C1, F4, E3, D2, C1, D2, F1, thumb tuck, circle it, A3, B flat 4, A3, G2, A1, circle it, that's a thumb tuck, B flat 2, C3, 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 all the way across, D4, C3, C3, D4, E flat 5, C3, C3, D4, E flat 5, E flat 5, D4, C3, B flat 2, check mark, B flat 3, C4, D flat 5, D flat 5, C4, B flat 3, A2, check mark, A4, F2, G3, A4, F2, check mark, F4, low B flat 1, D2, F4, and your pickup note is C1. Any questions? Nope. Play the song. You notice I played it a little bit syncopated. I did not play every note on the beat. I actually played a little bit behind the beat. So you play it the way you remember it being sung. It's the best advice I can give you. Keep steady Eddie with your chords. And then play the melody the way you would sing it. And you absolutely will be right. You're going to find that a lot of your notes are going to come in just a little bit ahead of your chords, and that's okay, because that's the way it was originally actually written. This is easy play. So don't feel like your chords and your notes always have to be at the same time. All right, give it a try, see what you think. Don't forget, 2 o'clock tomorrow, Dawn and Carrie in concert. Dawn's going to be on a little organ, something new. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Oop, I'm going to read. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm reading chats. Cool. Okay. Thank you guys. Enjoy your weekend. See you tomorrow.